Hi, this is Cindy. I'm going to show you how to make a log cabin block today, and there's two different methods that I'm going to show you. The first one's going to be using strips, and that's how I made these two blocks. And then the other method is going to be if you already pre-cut your logs. So I have cut my strips. I have my 3.5 inch center, 2-inch wide strips for my backgrounds and my individual logs that is running around here. And then on the other one where I've pre-cut my logs, I have my 3.5 inch center, and the logs are cut to the sizes that they needed to be according to your pattern. And we'll get started on this block. I'm going to start with a 3.5 inch center. I'm using a red for the center. Red traditionally in log cabin kind of like stands for the warmth of the home, the hearth. And if you have yellow and you see log cabin blocks with yellow in the center, that's for like a light on inside the house. So I'm using red today, and I've got 2-inch strips cut for my background and my other logs. So whatever, in a log cabin, whatever strip you're going to be attaching your block to always goes down first. So I've got my background strip here. And trim off your selvages. You don't want those on your blocks. What you're adding to it, I'm going to add the center block right now. So I'm going to put that and match up my raw edges on the right side and sew with a 1/4 inch seam. So you're going to sew that all the way down. And you're going to leave some space to put your next one on. And you'll just keep doing this for however many. Finish filling up this whole strip if you want to for however many blocks you're making. I'm just going to be making 2 right now. I had stitched this earlier, so I'm just going to use the same side. Okay, and so you just continue sewing. You always want to leave a little bit of space in between what you're adding so that you've got room for your trimming and cutting your blocks apart. So we've got our 2 here sewn on here. You're going to press it, and when you press, you're going to put what you're pressing, what you just stitched is going to be on the top, so that your seam will go to the background in this example. I'm going to go do that, and I'll show you how to cut it apart also. I don't know if you can see this for sure, but I have pressed my seam to the background piece, and I've got my 2 squares that I attached on here. To square it up, I'm going to line up the ruler, and I'm going to use the seam and pick a line on the ruler and make sure that it's straight, and then I'm also going to kind of line it up on the side of my square. So then I'm going to trim that, move it down so I can trim the other side of the block. So that one is done, and then here's the other one. Just pick out. Okay, I lost power a while ago, so I'm not sure what all got on there, but I'm going to keep going. I trimmed my squares off from the strip of the background, and now I'm using the same background strip that I had. I'm going to lay that down over here, and we're going to attach the next one to that. It's always right sides together, and the sewing order on your log cabin blocks is going to be your center, then light, light, dark, dark, light, light, dark, dark, and you're going to keep alternating lights and darks until you get to what's going to be your last round, and you'll end with the dark. So we've got this here. I'm going to match up. You put in the strip that you last sewed goes in first, always at the top. So I've got that on there, and I've got my right sides even, so I'm getting ready to start here. We'll stitch this one down. Let me get that lined up there. Whoops. We'll stitch this one down, and then when we get to the bottom of that, we will go and add the next one. And you'll keep doing this for however many you're going, or as long as your strip is. I leave my needle down so I don't lose where I'm at on that. Remember, what you last sewed goes in first, so that's going to be at the top. So match that up on the right sides and then stitch it. Leave space in between your blocks so you can cut them apart. I'm going to go press this to the background strip. And then I'll use the seam that was sewn and the side of the block in order to line it up so it's square to cut them apart. Cut that on both sides of your block, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've trimmed that now. So I have my center square with one at the side and then one at the top. That's 2 pieces on the light, so now I'm going to go to a darker one. So the next strip I'm going to add, got one cut here. I'm going to feed that in. Take a strip that I just sewed. Remember, what you just sewed goes in at the top. Line up the right sides. If you need to pin this, you can go ahead and pin it. And that might help you. When they get bigger, it's probably going to be more necessary to do it because your strips keep getting so much longer. But just stitch that with your 1/4 inch seam. Let me try to change that angle so my hand's not in the way. And then I've got the next one here. What I just sewed goes in up at the top. Lay that down. Leave space in between your blocks. Then I'll go trim this one as well. Press your seam to the strip you just sewed. The way we're making our blocks, we're using just the 4 colors. So I had like a fat 1/4 strip, so it's not going to be the full length. So you might need to check and make sure that it's going to get all the way down there at the end when you add the next one, because I don't think I'm going to get 2 off of this. Yeah, I won't. So we'll do 1. But you can always look and see, and if you run out, you just butt up another one and do a next one. Do your chain piecing, kind of like. So I've got my new strip, or the strip that I'm adding the block to, and the one that I just sewed is up here at the top. So I'm going to start sewing on that with my 1/4 inch seam. If you have something to where it's getting in the way and you need to kind of push down the seam so that it doesn't curl up, I'm using a stiletto. You can use maybe a pin or your seam ripper, something to just kind of hold that down, and then you can go and continue sewing, and that'll keep your seams straight. Just sew all the way down to the other end of that block. There's not enough room for me to add the next one on. There's not enough here, so I'm going to add in this one here and start with a new one. So we'll end that one. And I've got another one here. And I'll put that one down. And remember, the one that you just sewed is what goes in up at the top. So just right sides together. Match the right side. Slide it on up there so you can start sewing. Get this seam here started. That's not exactly where I need it. Then you'll press to the strip you just added and trim your block. You'll keep doing this until you have all of your colors on there. I'm going to work ahead and then I'll come back and show you, because the next one I'm going to add is going to be the background again. I'm just going to use the strip that we used the last time because I hadn't used all of it, and so that'll be the next strip that I sew on. Let me go trim these. Okay, I'm back. Like I said, the next one you're going to add is going to be your background again, your light strip. So I've got my light strip here. I'm putting it down. The one that I last sewed goes at the top, and that's what you feed in first. Next one, what you last sewed goes in at the top. That goes in first. When you're looking at your blocks, you can always tell, even though you're doing the same color, you can tell which one it is. It's going to be the longest one, because you're attaching these on the side, so it's going to wind up that each one you add is going to be just a little bit larger than the previous strip. I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing this, because like the next one's going to be the background, then I'll do a dark, and then the background again for 2 rounds, and then the dark. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this, and then I will come back and show you the completed block.